Friends, gather around. Remember when you thought trade wars were boring? Well, buckle up because things just got real. On April 5, 2025, Trump slapped a 10% tariff on goods from a whole bunch of countries. Think of it like a global import tax. And it gets juicier. On April 9th, those tariffs jumped even higher, hitting 20% for the EU and a whopping 54% for China. Ouch! Now before you reach for that extra strong coffee, let's be clear. Some things gotta pass. Crude oil, pharmaceuticals, and semiconductors are safe. For now. And there's a 51-day grace period for stuff already on its way. But make no mistake, this is a big deal. This isn't just about numbers, folks. It's about your morning latte, that fancy German car you've been eyeing, and even your kids' video games. We're talking price hikes on everything from clothes to cars. So grab your wallets, folks, because things are about to get bumpy. Remember that warm, fuzzy feeling you get when the stock market is booming? Yeah, kiss that goodbye. The tariffs hit Wall Street like a ton of bricks. The S&P 500, that big ol' index of American companies, shed a gut-wrenching $5 trillion in value. That's trillion, with a T. And the Dow Jones? Down over 2,000 points. Even oil and commodity prices took a nosedive. It's enough to make you want to crawl under your desk and cry. But wait, there's more. JP Morgan, those financial whizzes are predicting a full-blown recession in the second half of 2025. Think shrinking GDP, rising unemployment, the whole shebang. Look, I'm no economist, but when the markets are screaming this loud, it's time to pay attention. Okay, so the markets are freaking out, but how will this tariff madness actually affect you? Let's break it down, industry by industry. First up, luxury goods. Remember that Italian leather jacket you've been saving up for? Yeah, that just got a whole lot more expensive thanks to those hefty EU tariffs, and don't even think about that new Jaguar because they've hit the brakes on US shipments. Retail giants like Walmart and Costco might weather the storm since they get a lot of their stuff domestically, but Amazon? Not so much. They're looking at a potential $5 to $10 billion hit to their profits. Ouch! Even the fast food industry, which mostly sources its ingredients locally, isn't immune. Increased transportation costs due to higher steel prices thanks tariffs mean those burgers and fries could get pricier too, and gamers get ready for disappointment. Nintendo just delayed pre-orders for the Switch 2, citing tariff-related cost increases. So much for escaping reality in a virtual world. You know how in those old westerns when someone starts a bar fight, everyone jumps in? Well, that's kind of what's happening now. The world isn't taking these tariffs lying down. China, never one to back down from a trade spat, retaliated with a 34% tariff on US goods. Oh, and they're also limiting exports of rare earth minerals, which are crucial for making all sorts of high-tech stuff. Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north, slapped tariffs on US vehicles. And the EU called the tariffs unjustified, which, in diplomatic speak, is basically like calling them a giant dumpster fire. Leaders from all over, including Britain, France, Israel, Japan, Vietnam, and Taiwan, are scrambling to talk to the US. But let's be real, this isn't just a negotiation, it's a full-blown trade war. And nobody wins in a trade war. Section 5, Consumers foot the bill. Alright, let's cut to the chase. Who's ultimately paying for this tariff tango? You guessed it, consumers. Companies aren't just going to absorb these increased costs. Nope, they're passing them right along to you and me. Salvatore Ferragamo, the fancy shoe company, is already jacking up prices. And they won't be the last. But it's not just about higher prices at the checkout. This trade war is throwing a wrench into the entire global economy. Companies are putting off big investments, IPOs are on hold, and mergers and acquisitions are stuck in limbo. All of this uncertainty and instability trickles down to everyday folks like you and me, making it harder for businesses to grow and create jobs. Section 6. Trump's trade war. A disaster in the making? Now I know what you're thinking. John, you're being a bit dramatic, aren't you? Maybe. But when you look at the facts, it's hard not to be worried. This trade war is like a runaway train, and no one seems to know how to stop it. The tariffs are hurting American businesses, costing consumers more money, and creating chaos in the global economy. And for what? To bring back manufacturing jobs? To reduce the trade deficit? Those are laudable goals, but this is not the way to achieve them. This trade war is a disaster in the making, and unless cooler heads prevail, we're all going to feel the pain. Section 7, the why behind the tariff storm. So why is Trump doing this? Why unleash this economic chaos upon the world? Well, he claims it's all about America first and bringing back jobs. He says other countries haven't been playing fair, taking advantage of the US with unfair trade practices. His administration declared a national emergency over trade deficits, basically saying that America buying more stuff from other countries than it sells to them is a threat to national security. They argue that these tariffs are a necessary evil, a tough love approach to force other countries to renegotiate trade deals in America's favor. They believe it will protect American manufacturing, boost domestic production, and bring back jobs that were lost to globalization. Section 8, the road to a trade war. This trade war didn't just erupt out of nowhere, it's been simmering for a while. Remember that America First campaign promise? Well, this is what it looks like in action. It all started with a flurry of memos and executive orders. First came the America First Trade Policy Memorandum in January 2025, setting the stage for a more aggressive trade agenda. Then, in February 2025, Trump signed the Memorandum on Reciprocal Trade and Tariffs, basically saying that if other countries want to sell to America, they better be prepared to buy American goods in return. After a bunch of investigations and threats, the hammer finally dropped in April 2025 with the implementation of these sweeping tariffs. Section 9, a terrific mess with no easy way out. So, here we are folks, stuck in a trade war with no end in sight. The global economy is teetering on the brink, businesses are freaking out, and consumers are left holding the bag. Is there a way out of this mess? Maybe. But it's going to take some serious diplomacy, compromise, and a whole lot of luck. Trump seems determined to stay the course, calling these tariffs an economic revolution. But the rest of the world isn't backing down. And as the economic pain spreads, the pressure will mount for a resolution. One thing's for sure, this trade war is a lose-lose situation for everyone involved. And the longer it drags on, the worse